Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Commanding General, Major General Darrell Hood, and the Post Command Sergeant Major Eric Oakes, welcome to the United States Army Training Center in Fort Jackson for the retirement review of 3 soldiers and the graduation of companies Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and Delta from the 4th Battalion, 39th Infantry Regiment, 165th Infantry Brigade. Please stand for the invocation given by Chaplain Mustafa Rahushin.
Let us pray. Almighty and loving God, we pray that you bless the soldiers graduating today. We're thankful and proud of their commitment, dedication, discipline to continue serving the people of the United States, living and embracing the Army values, protecting our freedom and the American way of life. Bless our families for their unconditional support and sacrifice. Grant us wisdom and courage to lead by example. Protect our warriors, guardians of freedom, from any harm, and keep our country safe, strong, and prosperous. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Please be seated. The purpose of today's ceremony is to recognize the commitment of the men and women you see here who have chosen to serve their country as soldiers. This review is the last official formation in the career of 3 lifelong soldiers and for our newest soldiers. Not everyone successfully completes this difficult period of training. Far fewer are able to accept the challenges and difficulties that come with the life of a career soldier. But those in formation today represent disciplined, motivated, physically fit soldiers who exemplify the Army's 7 core values: loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. They are imbued with the warrior ethos and display the tenets of putting the mission first, never accepting defeat, never quitting, and never leaving behind a fallen comrade. This is an important day, and these soldiers can take great pride in their accomplishments. To the parents, families, and friends of these soldiers, Fort Jackson extends a very warm and sincere welcome. We are justifiably proud of our retirees' lifelong dedication to our nation and truly honored that the next generation standing on this field have chosen to join our ranks. Please direct your attention to the left of the formation. The units marching today from your left to right are the 282nd Army Band under the direction of Sergeant First Class Matthew Johnston. Graduating soldiers from Company Alpha, Bravo, the Battalion Color Guard, and graduating soldiers from Companies Charlie and Delta. Identified by their distinctive headgear are the drill sergeants. These dedicated non-commissioned officers form the backbone of the Army's training center system. Selected based on professional competence, leadership ability, and years of service. These men and women undergo intensive training to earn the right to wear their distinctive hat and insignia. With the drill sergeant hat goes the important responsibility of molding civilian men and women into soldiers. The commander of troops for today's ceremony is Major Corey Banks, who serves as the executive officer for the 4th Battalion, 39th Infantry Regiment. He and battalion staff are positioned on the field. The reviewing officer for today's graduation is the commander of the 4th Battalion, 39th Infantry Regiment, Lieutenant Colonel Jonathan S. Baker. On his left is Command Sergeant Major Michael A. Reyna, the battalion's senior non-commissioned officer, master trainer, and principal advisor to the commander.
Down, present, on. Sir, the battalion is full. Hardcore.
No slack.
Down, order round.
The commander of troops will now bring forward the colors and persons to be honored.
Colors and persons to be honored. Center. March.
Competence and commitment are the hallmarks of professionalism. The soldiers and drill sergeants coming forward will be recognized for their excellence in training and duty performance and serve as examples to all.
Sir, President and Collins can be honored or present.
Present the command!
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the playing of the national anthem. It is appropriate for soldiers in uniform and all armed forces veterans to salute the American flag. We ask our civilian guests to please remove your headgear and place your right hand over your heart as our national anthem is played.
Now, present arms. Detachment, present arms.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
Detachment, order, arms. Down, order, arms. Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're about to witness the retirement of 2 lifelong soldiers and 1 dedicated Department of Defense civilian employee. All soldiers begin their journey by graduating from basic combat training. Over the years, there have been many changes to how the Army conducts basic training. However, many things remain the same. It was during basic training that these soldiers were first introduced to the Army values. It is where they learn the importance of teamwork and that the Army is truly a family. That sense of team and Army family is still embedded in what is done here today. Over 21, 14, and 42 years ago, these soldiers took the same oath to defend this nation that your loved ones on the field have taken. We salute these great soldiers as they pass the torch of freedom along to the newest generation of soldiers, your loved ones standing on the field today. A certificate of appreciation from the President of the United States will be presented to those retiring today. It reads, I extend to you my personal thanks and the sincere appreciation of our grateful nation for your contribution of honorable service to our country. You have helped maintain the security of the nation during critical times in its history with a devotion to duty and a spirit of sacrifice in keeping with the proud traditions of the military service. I trust that in the coming years, you will maintain an active interest in the armed forces and the purpose for which you serve. Those who follow in your footsteps will draw inspiration from your commitment, dedication, and sacrifices made to ensure the protection of our American freedoms. My best wishes to you for happiness and success in the future. A certificate of retirement from the Chief of Staff, United States Army, is also presented to those retiring today and to the spouses of today's retirees for their dedicated service to our nation. At this time, Major General Hood and Command Sergeant Major Oaks will recognize our retirees for their service to the United States Army. Lieutenant Colonel Keith L. Jacobs, having served honorably for 28 years of service, is placed on the retirement list effective 27 March 2025. Lieutenant Colonel Jacobs entered active duty in Montgomery, Alabama, and will reside in Anderson, South Carolina upon retirement. His fondest professional achievement was overseeing the training and development of initial entry soldiers while serving as a battalion commander of the 113th Infantry Regiment at Fort Jackson. Now retired, Lieutenant Colonel Jacobs plans to spend time with family and travel prior to starting a second career in his wife's business. The nation salutes Keith L. Jacobs, Lieutenant Colonel, United States Army, retired. Master Sergeant Bryn Newcomb, having served honorably for 21 years, is placed on the retirement list effective 27 March 2025. Master Sergeant Bryn Newcomb entered active duty in Evanston, Illinois, and will reside in Columbia, South Carolina upon retirement. Her fondest professional achievement was serving as AIT course manager and bassoon instructor at the Army School of Music and as the installation SARC for ATC and Fort Jackson. Now retired, Master Sergeant Bryn Newcomb plans to work in the Columbia, South Carolina area and enjoy time with her family. The nation salutes Bryn Newcomb, Master Sergeant, United States Army, retired. Mrs. Sharon L. Jackson, having served honorably for 35 years of Department of Defense civilian service, is placed on the retirement list effective 27 March 2025. Mrs. Sharon Jackson will reside in Columbia, South Carolina upon retirement. Her fondest professional achievement was serving the hundreds of thousands of soldiers, civilians, contractors, retirees, and family members within the Fort Jackson ID card section. Mentoring her team, watching them operate at the highest levels of professionalism at all times, has been very rewarding. She is eager to embark on the next chapter of her life, including visiting her grandchildren, spending time with her husband while traveling the world, and living their best lives. She will continue to use her talents to bless the elderly and the homeless through programs within her church family. The soldiers most responsible for the training of these soldiers are the drill sergeants, who are carefully selected by the Department of the Army. The drill sergeant campaign hat and badge have been a stoic symbol of professionalism and pride since 1962. At this time, the drill sergeant of the cycle from Charlie Company, 4th Battalion, 39th Infantry Regiment, Drill Sergeant John Highlander, will recite the drill sergeant's creed. We ask that all drill sergeants, past and present, please stand for the reciting of the drill sergeant creed.
Woody, vote!
Right flank, forward. One time, forward. Through, hold. Left, hold, straight, press. am a drill sergeant. I will assist each individual in their efforts to become a highly motivated, well-disciplined, physically and mentally fit soldier, capable of defeating any enemy on today's modern battlefield. I will instill pride in all that I train, pride in self, in the Army, and in country. I will insist that each soldier meets and maintains the Army standards of military bearing and courtesy, consistent with the highest traditions of the U.S. Army. I will lead by example, never requiring a soldier to attempt any task that I would not do myself. But first, last, and always, I am an American soldier, sworn to defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, both foreign and domestic. I'm a drill sergeant.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant Colonel Jonathan Baker and Command Sergeant Major Michael Reyna will now present the awards. The outstanding drill sergeant of the cycle for 439 Infantry Battalion is Drill Sergeant John Highlander from Kansas City, Missouri. The soldier leader of the cycle for Alpha Company is Specialist Matthew Adams from Chevy Chase, Maryland. The soldier of the cycle for Alpha Company is Specialist Crystal Hendrickson from Rye, Colorado. The soldier leader of the cycle for Bravo Company is Private Mason Packwood from Keller, Texas. The soldier of the cycle for Bravo Company is Private Benjamin Garrett Fulks from Wichita, Kansas. The soldier leader of the cycle for Charlie Company is Private First Class Faria Shaw from Walnut Creek, California. The soldier of the cycle for Charlie Company is Private Cyrus Vaughn from Bel Air, Maryland. The soldier leader of the cycle for Delta Company is Specialist Aria Elizabeth Agranzoni from Owens Crossroads, Alabama. The soldier of the cycle for Delta Company is Specialist Terrence Lavelle Dixon from Columbus, Georgia. Ladies and gentlemen, the commander of the 4th Battalion, 39th Infantry Regiment, Lieutenant Colonel Jonathan S. Baker.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 4th Battalion, 39th Infantry Regiment graduation ceremony recognizing the United States Army's newest soldiers. I'll start by acknowledging our senior leaders present with us today. The Army Training Center and Fort Jackson Commanding General, Major General Hood, the Post Command Sergeant Major, CSM Oaks, our special guest, Command Chief Master Sergeant Bickley, the senior enlisted leader of the U.S. Air Force Air Education and Training Command. Chief, great to have you with us this morning. The ATC Deputy Commander, Colonel Huttonen, and our brigade command team, Colonel Utlaut and Command Sergeant Major Blyler. Most importantly, I'd like to acknowledge all of the families and friends gathered with us today and those watching virtually. You are a key part of how these new soldiers arrived here at Hilton Field. For each new soldier, there are families, teachers, friends, coaches, clergy, and many others who helped prepare them from a time before they could remember to make this journey. Their success today is a reflection of your success. For that, I salute you. Please give yourselves a big round of applause. I'd like to acknowledge First Sergeant retired Ed Hogue and his wife Kathy. Ed served with the battalion as a squad leader in 1st Platoon Battle Company during Vietnam and is a distinguished member of the regiment. During 2 tours here at Fort Jackson, he also served as a drill sergeant, senior drill sergeant, and first sergeant. Ed, welcome home. I'd like to ask you and all of the other veterans here today to please stand so we can recognize you and give you a well-deserved round of applause. For our retirees, Lieutenant Colonel Keith Jacobs, Master Sergeant Bryn Newcomb, and Mrs. Sharon Jackson, thank you for being part of today. Collectively, you represent more than 84 years of service to the nation. You have fought the good fight, you have finished the race, you have kept the faith. We all enjoy the peace that you invested a lifetime into preserving. Thank you, and enjoy the next chapter of life. For the cadre of 4th Battalion, 39th Infantry, well done. A total of 689 soldiers are graduating today from the 4 companies of the battalion. And this is no easy feat, as the transformation from civilian to soldier is quite significant. Consider this: where once only one of us stood, there are now more than 5 others who also stand ready to defend our nation. Let all those who wish our nation harm see the work that we do here at Fort Jackson. For you are living the motto, "This we'll defend," and are demonstrating the resolve of the nation. I'd like to recognize some of our cadre members who exemplify the best of who we are. First, Senior Drill Sergeant John Highlander of Charlie Company, who is our battalion drill sergeant of the cycle. You distinguished yourself as going above and beyond expectations to train this new class of soldiers. Thank you for your service to the nation. Today is also the final graduation for 2 of our drill sergeants, Senior Drill Sergeant Eric Lee of Bravo Company and Senior Drill Sergeant Devin Capriotti of Alpha Company. Both of these great leaders are completing a challenging 2-year assignment where they trained 8 classes of new soldiers. We're incredibly grateful for their dedication to the nation. Please join me in giving them a well-deserved round of applause. To the soldiers of the graduating class, I have a few parting thoughts that I hope you'll take with you. You've completed something challenging and earned the right to stand with us as soldiers. That said, you didn't do this alone. From your first days, there were others who invested in you. Be grateful to the family and those who've stood behind you and supported you. Be quick to give credit and appreciation for those who've mentored you along the way. Seek to give recognition to others whenever you can, and always honor them with your words and your actions. Secondly, you arrived to Fort Jackson as individuals, but are leaving here as a team. The soldiers to your left and right helped you get here. You carried them, and at some point they helped carry you. Wherever you go from here, Others will be there with you. Great teammates and friendships are ahead of you. Each of you will forge your own unique story of service, but all of your sagas yet to come will share a common theme: the incredible bond of camaraderie with those whom you'll share the journey. In time, the importance of places and events will fade, and when you arrive at the end of your journey, you will be left with the memories of those with whom you traveled. Take care of your teammates, for what you invest in them will be your lasting achievement. Third, you will never be betrayed by the values that we have imparted upon you: loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. These ideals are your compass, always pointing you true in your course. Rest assured, you might not always know your destination, but you will always know the path that you are to walk. For whenever you are in doubt, whenever you question yourself, whenever the pathway to victory seems unclear, remember your values and you'll never be lost. Graduating soldiers, this is not the end, but only the beginning. You've climbed this mountain, but from this peak you can now see that there are other summits yet to climb. Our nation depends on you in this moment. My generation is passing the torch to yours. You are up to the task, I promise you. Enjoy every step. Just remember, honor your family, take care of your teammates, and carry your compass. Hardcore, strike strong, and victory starts here.
Down the pit! Come on, reverse! March!
Today's soldier is, above all, a warrior, adaptive, confident, and competent. As a soldier, you are totally committed to the warrior ethos, grounded in Army values, and determined to destroy enemies of the United States of America and her allies. The United States Army Soldier's Creed embodies this commitment. To the soldiers on the field, the uniform you wear at this moment is more than an outward display of your vocational choice. Your uniform is a symbol of a nation and an unspoken assurance to all who see that you are a willing and able protector of the freedoms fought so arduously for by all who have gone before and those who will bravely come after. You have become what you set out to be, a soldier of the United States Army. The Soldier's Creed is your declaration of your unshakable commitment to the ideals this nation was founded upon and will continue to guarantee. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the reviewing stand. As Specialist Crystal Hendrickson presents a certificate of appreciation to the retirees and leads the soldiers standing before you through the reciting of the Soldier's Creed. Please be seated.
Pass and review.
Pass and review.
In consideration of those around you, we ask that you please remain seated and in the bleachers until all soldiers have passed the reviewing stand and the conclusion of the ceremony is announced. As you are approached by the American flag, it is appropriate to rise and remain standing until it has passed to your right. Once the ceremony has concluded, family members of awardees may meet their soldier under the canopy located to the left of the bleachers. All other family members and friends, please meet your soldier on the field once instructed by the narrator by respective companies. The 39th Infantry Regiment was organized at Camp Syracuse, New York on 1 June 1917 by transfer of veteran troops from the 30th Infantry Regiment. In December 1918, the 39th Infantry Regiment was assigned to the 4th Infantry Division in the spring of 1918. Sailed for France as a part of the Army for Expeditionary Force in World War I and joined the battle the first time during World War I in the now famous Aisne Marne Offensive. The regiment was later reassigned on 1 August 1940 to the 9th Division, which the regiment fought under in the World War II. The 39th Infantry Regiment would subsequently participate in myriad of key engagements to include storming the beach of Algiers, securing Utah Beach, and culminating in the Battle of the Bulge, and aiding in the capture of the Remagen bridgehead. After a series of inactivations and activations, 4th Battalion, 39th Infantry Regiment deployed in 1966 with the 9th Infantry Division to the Republic of Vietnam, participating in Operation Palm Tree, the 1968 Tet Offense, and the Battle of the Plan of Reeds, becoming immortalized as the Hardcore Battalion. The 39th Infantry Regiment was inactivated 25th of September 1969 at Schofield Barracks, Hawaii, and relieved from assignment to the 9th Infantry Division. The 39th Infantry Regiment was transferred 3rd April 1987 to United States Army Training and Doctrine Command and activated at Fort Dix, New Jersey. Then later departed Fort Dix, New Jersey for Fort Jackson, South Carolina, arriving on 22 August 1990, where the 4th Hardcore Battalion was subsequently activated 1 October 2017. Passing the reviewing stand is the Commander of Troops, Major Corey Banks, and the battalion staff.
Aye, right.
The 282nd Army Band is directed by Sergeant First Class Matthew Johnson and Drum Major Sergeant First Class Corey Walton. In the American Army, reviews were originally outlined in Baron Friedrich von Steuben's Blue Book and practiced by revolutionary cadets. A review consisted of 4 stages: a formation of troops, representation and honors, inspection, and a march-in review. Today's reviews have incorporated 3 additional stages: honors to the nation, remarks, and a conclusion. The presence of the band or military music represents the significant role that the drum, fife, and other musical instruments have played throughout military history for signaling in camp or the battlefield. Alpha Company is commanded by First Lieutenant Gunnar Ingram. First platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Devin Capriati and trained by Drill Sergeant Thomas Draper. Second platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Christopher Hayes and trained by Drill Sergeant Jasmine Lewis. Third platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Angel Montanez Lopez and trained by Drill Sergeant David Crum. Fourth platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Miguel Caicedo and trained by Drill Sergeant Shanika Saunders. In the rear of the formation is the First Sergeant Michael DePalo. Bravo Company is commanded by Captain Mike Andre. First platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Dustin Perkins and trained by Drill Sergeant Deidre Ramirez. Second platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Javier Marrero Diaz and trained by Drill Sergeant Angelica McPanty. Third platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Corey Griffin and trained by Senior Drill Sergeant Alexis Coleman. Fourth platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Benjamin Hardesty and led by Drill Sergeant Renee Herrera. In the rear of the formation is the First Sergeant Kyle Dorsey. Ladies and gentlemen, as you are approached by the American flag, it is appropriate to rise and remain standing until it has passed to your right. Charlie Company is commanded by First Lieutenant Christian Sweeney. First platoon is led by Drill Sergeant Sarika James and trained by Drill Sergeant Jason Pruitt. Second platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Mitchell Mackay and trained by Drill Sergeant Chandler Smith. Third platoon is led by Drill Sergeant Matthew Salzer and trained by Drill Sergeant Kiara Fairman. Fourth platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Nestor Gomez and trained by Drill Sergeant Donald Soltrusky. In the rear of the formation is the First Sergeant Brandon Moss. Delta Company is commanded by Captain Donovan Swain. First platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Brian Parham and trained by Drill Sergeant Patrick Lyons. Second platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Ricardo Cervera and trained by Drill Sergeant Carlos Bezavala. 3rd platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Matthew LaForge and trained by Drill Sergeant Dejanay Gadsden. Fourth platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Adrian Sims. In the rear of the formation is the First Sergeant Tambuzi Green. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the Army song and please remain in the bleachers until the conclusion of the ceremony is announced.
Sir, this concludes today's ceremony. Encore!
Post flat!
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. Please enjoy the rest of your day and have a safe journey home. Victory starts here.